Hey guys, welcome to this module. And this one I want to talk to you about setting up successful Facebook audiences and ads. I've been in the business for a long time now, I guess over 9 years experience in e-commerce and founder of over 50 e-commerce sites. And we have products on Walmart's website that are our own branded products. And I just want to share with you some of the things we do to have successful ads. Now, what we do is not necessarily what everybody does, and everybody's got different ways of doing it. And if you've got a way that works for you, that's great, But this is just what works for us. So I wanted to go through this with you because it seems like one of the biggest sticking points is being able to do a successful Facebook ad, because it doesn't matter if you have got a great product. It doesn't matter if you have a great price. If you can't do an ad and you can't get it to the right people and the right people don't see your ad, then it's not going to matter. So that's really what this video is about, is making sure it gets in front of the right people and how to test it and the process that we go through. When we look at Facebook ads, there's several different kinds of ads you can look at and that we actually do. And the first one is a custom one. Now, this is for a custom audience. So this is an audience that we actually select who's going to be in that audience, and we save that audience, and that audience has certain people in it. The next one is going to be customers. Obviously, you could run an ad to your particular customers by just uploading those to Facebook. You can use their email addresses, and Facebook will match the majority of them for the most part, and you can build a nice audience doing that. The next thing you can do is a lookalike. Once you've uploaded your audience, if it's big enough, and of course Facebook always changes this, but I believe at the time of this recording it's around 100 people, they can build a lookalike audience. They go into the demographics of that audience. In other words, they take your people who have bought from you, and they look at, are they homeowners? What's their income? What's their credit like? What are their likes? What pages do they like? What are their hobbies? And it actually goes out and tries to build a lookalike audience for you. Now, this is going to work a whole lot better if you've got 10,000 customers than if you've got 100, obviously, because they can look at that 10,000 and they can get more data points from that. But it does work, and it's a really cool thing to do if you want to target people. So lookalike audience is one way to go. And the next one is retargeting. So these are people that maybe already visited your page. You have a pixel on that page and you can retarget those people, or maybe they bought from you in the past and you have a new product, so you're going after those people and you're retargeting them that way. Maybe they got to your checkout page and didn't complete the order, so that's another way you can go about it. So let's move on here and let's look at ad audiences, okay? Now, here's what we do. Like I say, you can do anything you want if it works for you. I'm just telling you what works for us. We usually pick 8 to 10 different audiences, and then we set up our ads. Now, the ads are the same. Every single ad is the same, with the exception of I'm going to have 2 different images to each audience, or an image in a video, or 2 videos, whatever combination you want. But you only take those 2 images. That's it for all 8 to 10 audiences, okay? You don't put different images in the other audiences because you wouldn't be able to test it that way. It has to be consistent. So you've got 8 to 10 audiences, 2 images per audience. All the text is going to be the same on every single ad, or image and video, or 2 videos per audience. Then that's going to give you 16 to 20 ads. After that, we only run this for $5 a day per audience. I know some people start with more, some people, do it differently, but I'm just telling you what we do and what works for us, and I think it's worth a try because we've been very successful at it. And then what we do is we check the ads in 3 days. Now, I got to tell you, I don't wait 3 days. I'm always anxious, and I'm checking my ads all the time. I have friends that spend in the millions a month on ads, and they're up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night checking their ads, because if it goes in the wrong direction, they can stop it. But with $5, you're pretty safe. You could close your eyes for 3 days and not really get hurt that bad. Okay, so there are certain rules for these audiences, though, okay? So, and these are my rules. These aren't necessarily your rules or everybody's rules. These are just things that we do, that we're suggesting that you could do too and maybe get good results. We like to see between 600,000 and 1.5 million in the audience. If it's a little bit below that, I don't mind. I don't generally go above 1.5 million, though. That's a pretty big audience. Next thing is it's got to be targeted, okay? So you just don't want to grab people who, let's say, like Ford. Because that could just lead you in so many different directions. It could be truck people, it could be car people, it could be collector people, it could be antique people. So you want to have it a whole lot more focused on your particular niche, which I'll do another video on that later. Only run ads in the Facebook feed. I never run ads to the right column, because what do we know about the right column? It's always ads, okay? So obviously we know it's an ad, and I don't want my ads to look like an ad, so I always run them in the actual feed so people actually think it's more organic. Matter of fact, I don't even look off to the right. I don't know about you, but I never look off to the right. I just don't. Don't select the expand audience button. There's a little button down there that says, would you like Facebook to expand your audience? If we can get more buyers for it. Just don't do it. I've never had luck with it. You're welcome to try it, but my suggestion is do not do it. Only run the ads for 3 days. That's it, okay? Don't fall in love with your ad. You say, well, this is a really good ad. It just needs a few more days. I'm sure it's going to do well. I never do that. I only go by data. The data makes all the decisions for me. There's no emotion involved whatsoever. Don't increase successful audiences. Duplicate them. So in other words, if you've got an ad that's doing really, really well, don't take that $5 ad and make it a $500 ad. It's not going to work. Matter of fact, don't ever do that. Don't go up that fast anyhow, unless you've got tons of money to burn. So what you would want to do is duplicate that particular ad and audience, and then run it at a higher amount, maybe $10, maybe $20, maybe $50, even $100. But don't mess with a successful one. And I don't know why, but it seems like if you mess with a successful one, it destroys it. Okay, what to check for in the audiences, because once you've got all these things running, you've got some data, 3 days have gone by, here's what we're going to check for. We're going to check for the highest performing images in the top 3 audiences and replace the non-performing image. So if I've got A, B images in all of these, and A is outperforming B in all of them, then I'm going to change that B image for those particular audiences. Okay, so I'm not going to mess with my first one, I'm just going to change the image in the second one if the first one was doing better. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kill it says none there, okay, so I made a mistake. Kill the non-performing audiences. Now, when I say non-performing, if you're optimizing for clicks or sales or opt-ins or whatever it is, and if you didn't get any in 72 hours, you want to kill those ads. And I know you're saying, well, no, I just think it needs a little bit more traffic. Don't do it. Just kill them and start over again. That's our method. Kill them and start over. And I'm sure somebody's going to maybe put a comment and say, well, gee, I ran mine for 9 days, and on the 10th day it really killed. Well, you are really the exception. And the fact is, I don't want to go with the exception. I want to go with the majority of what works. And it just really never works for you after 3 days. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Don't keep trying that. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to change the images for the semi-performing audiences. So what you're going to end up with, if you've got 20 audiences, you're going to have some that are doing really well, some that are kind of all right, and then some that just suck. Okay, so we're going to kill the suck ones, and we're going to try a couple more images for the semi-producing audiences, that middle band of audiences, and see what that does. Now, if that doesn't do what we want, and our top-performing ones are still our top-performing ones, we'll kill those too. Then we're going to replace the non-performing audiences with new audiences. Now, we only do this, obviously, if we have some that are performing at the top, because then we know the images are okay, and it's probably the audience fault. See, there's so many parts to this. It's not just your ad. It's not just your text. It's not just your image. It's not just your message. It's not just your offer. It's all of these things, and they have to work in unison. So what do you do if none are performing? That's a great question. You kill them. You just kill them all, and you start all over from square one, and that's going to happen. And if you say, well, gee, I wasted $50 or $100 or $200, you didn't waste anything. You figured out what audiences wouldn't work and which ads wouldn't work, and that's great. You just bought some information. At 7 days, you start to scale, okay? You never increase ads, you duplicate them. I told you that on the other screen. You check the frequency. Now, the frequency is how often that audience is seeing your ad. If they see it too often, they get ad fatigue, okay? Which means they don't even see it anymore, or maybe they even complain about it, and you don't want that to happen. So we want to stay below 3 for frequency, but I really like to stay below 1.5 to 2, but 3 is max, okay? And you want to check this every 3 days, because that frequency can jump up real fast, especially if you're starting with a smaller audience. You maybe can't get 600,000. Maybe you can only get 150,000 for your audience. Well, that ad frequency is going to jump up pretty fast. And then you want to drill down to the demographics, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the ones that got clicked on and the ones that are performing, and I'm going to see if women are clicking more than men. Or is a certain age group, is 45 to 55 better than 25 to 45? And if so, I'm going to kill that gender that's not working. I'm going to kill those ages that don't work. And I'm also going to look at the geos. So if I'm running an ad all across the United States, for example, and I'm going to look at the cost per click, let's say in Florida and California and New York. And if New York is $5 a click, but Florida is $1.20, guess what? New York goes away, okay? And we put all of our money back into Florida. So you can just start killing off states if you want to do that. Now, don't rush this, okay? You don't want to gamble, okay? A lot of people want to say, well, I just put more money there, on day two. And don't do this, okay? I used to gamble and go to casinos, and I would see people play craps. That was my game. And I would always play, if you know anything about craps, I would play the pass line and, the come line, okay? Those are just the only two things I would do. But I would see people betting on all the middle numbers and buying numbers and doing all this, and they pay commissions for it, and it costs them a lot of money. And the reason they did that is because if you're playing craps, if you've only got one or two numbers, in the come line and in the pass, they're going to roll a dice every now and then. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. And those people can't stand that, so they start buying all these other ads, okay? Excuse me, ads. They start betting on all these other bets. Because they want something happening all the time. So don't just dump a bunch of money on this and, want something to happen right away, because it's not. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of effort. Okay. And then the last thing you're going to do is check landing pages, okay? So, you got to do all this in steps. You don't want to, set up your ads and your landing pages and your sales pages and all this good stuff and go, I ran an ad, I didn't make any money. Well, look at it first. If you were getting a lot of clicks, that tells you that your ad is working, okay? If you're not getting a lot of sales and a lot of clicks, it's not your ad's fault. It's your sales page fault. It's your opt-in page's fault. And that's the next thing you want to optimize. And I will do another video on that. But the next thing you want to do is, check it all in stages. Check first off the ad. Does it get clicks? Is it getting them to do what you want? That's click, okay? Obviously, that's what we always want. And when they get to the landing page, are they doing what they should be doing there? Is that buying? Is that opting in? Is that getting your download? Whatever it is. And if they're not, then there's your problem. And there you can work on that, because you've already figured out some great ads. You just thought they were bad because they weren't buying, when it was really probably your offer. Maybe it was a congruency. Maybe that page didn't look, like the ad. When they got there, they got scared. So I'll talk about that in another video. I hope this helps you out, and I will talk to you soon. See you in the next video.